sweetest talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to do the final March to the King review. Gojira, 1954. A classic. A classic. Have it on Blu-ray. Got it on Blu-ray for Christmas from my lovely wife. Recently saw it, but I had to see it again. And it made watching Godzilla raids again much more, much more bearable to some extent. Still a bad movie, though, the other one. This movie, I don't got to tell you guys the story. You know the story by now. You know the classic characters, Ogata, Serizawa, the oxygen destroyer, the sacrifice that Serizawa makes, not only his own life, but even had he lived, he sacrificed his life's work to stop Godzilla. Only for Godzilla to return 28 more times. So he failed. No, I'm just kidding. But look, it's such a classic movie, and even watching it on Blu-ray, definitely enhances it. It makes it a little bit more faulty. You definitely see the faults much more clearer. But still, I had to have it. I had to have it, and it was great to get it for Christmas last year. And this is such a good tale because when you think about the time period this movie came out, how the dropping of the nuclear bombs was still fresh in the mind of many people in Japan. That's what the message was. That is the original message of Godzilla. A message that, let's admittedly say, that was lost for many of the movies that came afterwards. And I think it's something that Gareth Edwards is trying to recapture in his new movie, but with, minimal, remembering what Cranston said at last year's Comic-Con, they knew it was a very delicate situation after what happened in 2011 with the tsunami and the power plants melting down. So, but this movie, the suit was great, and I wish I was around that time period to have seen this when it first came out, because if some of you guys saw my video where I did the special unboxing and I spoke to my mom about 1954, who she was here with me talking about how it was for her to watch the movie. She wasn't on camera, she was off camera, but she was talking, and she shared her experience of watching the movie for the first time as a child and the fear that ignited in her when she saw the movie. And there are some very scary parts and dreadful. The scene with the mother and the two kids, come on. That's a killer right there. The sheer destruction, the sheer unstoppability of Godzilla. When they try to erect those towers and try to, blast him or shock him with 50 volts, and he just peeled through that shit like it was nothing. There was nothing they could do but hopelessly watch as all of the city was destroyed. And he was camping there. He stood in Tokyo Bay for 2 nights. It was finally on the second night that Ogata and Serizawa descended into the ocean to place the oxygen destroyer. So he was going to continue. He destroyed the city, took a rest, was going to come back. And, the classic scenes were there. Back on the island when he pops his head over the mountain and everyone's running and shitting their pants. Or the very opening scene when you don't see him, but you hear him. And there's a storm and he's trudging through the village. This is classic stuff. And this is the stuff from what I've heard, and because I'm starting to read some of the reviews now, basically because when I do my review of Godzilla, I want to take into account some of what other reviewers say to see if there's anything that I might dislike about the movie that they dislike. And when I hear about the fact that some people are complaining you hardly see him, others are complaining others are saying it's just fine. But if you remember this movie, it wasn't really until the bitter end of the movie that you really see him on his warpath. And it was still very satisfying. And what makes it satisfying is the story. It's a great story. It's a lesson to be learned by men, to see things maybe from the Japanese perspective on how they dealt with such horror and such destruction. How would any other country would react? How would they react? How would America react if something happened like that? Maybe we wouldn't necessarily make a giant monster movie, but we'd find a way to deal. We'd find a way to cope with it somehow, some way. We would find a way. So, Godzilla 54 is one of those movies, like I said, I wish I would have seen it when it originally came out. Because, when you see a movie like that growing up, and I appreciate it much more now than I was as a kid. As a kid, I wanted to see the Showa movies, all the monster battles and all that kind of stuff. And, the funny thing is that I look at this movie now and it's like, man, it's different. It's a much different movie now to me because you just see that there was so much more emotion put into this movie than any other Godzilla movie. Maybe so. Even even 84. As much as I love it, and it is still my number one favorite movie. It doesn't quite have the emotional impact this movie does, and I think it's because while that movie is great in its own right, in my opinion, it's very distant from the events that happened in Japan during the time Godzilla came out. Years prior to that, rather. So it's almost like Japan felt like they had not only suffered a catastrophe with what happened with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but that catastrophe created another one that they constantly have to deal with. I mean, it's a really, really fun classic movie, and it's nice to see that Gareth has taken his movie just as serious as that movie was taken at the time it was made. And it's a classic movie. You guys know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You know the suit was great. You know that the effects for the time they were given were excellent. The roar. How could you not like that roar? It was deeper. It was a little bit more, it just seemed more scary, or had, the Godzilla movies that came after that were more a little high-pitched roar, where this one was a little bit deeper, a little bit scarier, or at least, and not that it scared me, but it just sounded like it could have been a lot scarier than the other ones we heard later on. But, it's nice to finally sit here and finish all these movies and really get excited for what's to come in the next day, because tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm going to be in this theater, and I'm finally going to be able to really show some, because I try to keep myself a little reserved on here sometimes, because while I know a lot of you guys are Godzilla fans, there are general fans that come here and they want, I'm sure they want to watch somebody who's a fan but is also going to be very unbiased. And I think I've been pretty straightforward down the middle on most of my movie reviews of the series. Most of them are bad, okay? There's some gems in there, but overall, it's a character that you love. When I look back on all these reviews I've done, I can never really criticize the monster itself, because the monster always performs, but the people around it have to perform as well to make the movie complete and to make the movie something that you could take seriously. Which is why I'm very encouraged by what I've seen from Gareth Edwards so far, and I'm very excited to see this movie tomorrow night. I can't wait to come home and give you guys a review. I'm going to be doing 2 reviews. I'm going to do a spoiler. I'm going to do a non-spoiler. I will definitely be having discussions about the movie the weeks coming as things go by. The live stream will be Saturday night. And I think I have it set for 10 p.m., but I'm going to move it up to 9 p.m. so we get started a little bit early. And we're just going to talk G all night. If you guys if there's some people out there who don't plan on seeing the movie till Sunday, definitely want to stay out of that live stream. You want to stay off the nation for the next couple of days. The spoiler embargo lifts Friday. So, so avoid the nation if you're not going to see the movie that night. Avoid the live stream if you're not going to see the movie Saturday. And, enjoy it. Enjoy it, because this is what we've been doing this so long for. And that's it, man. That's it. March of the King has come to a close. I want to thank you all for taking this journey with me to all these wonderful movies and all the wonderful comments. And it's been a fun time. Now it's on to Godzilla 2014, man. I am super psyched. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do the final March to the King review. Gojira, 1954. A classic. Have it on Blu-ray. Got it on Blu-ray for Christmas from my lovely wife. Recently saw it, but I had to see it again. And it made watching Godzilla raids again much more, much more bearable to some extent. Still a bad movie, though, the other one. This movie, I don't got to tell you guys the story. You know the story by now. You know the classic characters, Ogata, Serizawa, the oxygen destroyer, the sacrifice that Serizawa makes, not only his own life, but even had he lived, he sacrificed his life's work to stop Godzilla. Only for Godzilla to return 28 more times. So he failed. No, I'm just kidding. But look,